So welcome to the Let's Get Organized training modules. That's lesson number 6 in our Let's Get Organized series. And so far we've covered in the lesson 1, the Google Apps. In the lesson 2, Google Ads-on and extensions. So that's a bit further on Google. In lesson 3, we went through basic business tools such as Calendly, a scheduling tool, Asana, project management tool, Active Campaign, which is a CRM and a mailing tool. In lesson 4, we discussed the tools for team management. So Google Workspace for a team, Loom, which is a video capture tool, very useful, Toggle for time tracking, and LastPass, which is a password sharing tool. Lesson 5 was about basic marketing tools. So we talk about Zapier, which is a third-party integrator. It's actually kind of the connector between all different tools. We discussed about CoSchedule, a social media calendar and scheduling tool, website and landing pages builder, what are the differences when you need one or the other, StreamYard, the live video streaming tool. And today we're going to discuss the invoicing and payment tools. We're going to have a quick intro on these tools, discuss some Israeli tools, US tools, and PayPal. So let's try straight away. So before, what are the different payment options? I want to make a quick stop on why do we need payment options? Why do we need a payment system? This is kind of obvious. You can't run a successful business if you can't get paid. And the time where you could just rely on getting cash from customer, even if you have a physical business, is long past. It's been a few years, a good few years now, but it's going to be more in the future. People are going digital for their payments. There's a lot of research on that. So we're talking about 4 main means of payments that are available for businesses. Bank transfer, and we'll see we have 2 different types of bank transfers. We have traditional bank transfer that you do in your traditional bank account. And we have bank transfer using non-banking institution, such as Wise or Revolut, which allow you to have accounts, but not traditional ones. We have credit cards. Credit cards have been around for a long time, but they are very used. It's the most used mean of payment, especially when we're talking about online transaction. And then we have payment apps such as Zelle for the US, Bit for Israel, and PayPal worldwide. We see in the presentation we have a whole section dedicated to PayPal, and check and cash. There is an option for digital check, right? There are some tools that are available, usually for business to business, that it is possible, but it's still not the main one of the main means of payment, and cash is nowadays very limited. Some of the very important consideration you need to look at when you're choosing the mean of payment you're going to offer to your clients. First of all, your customers have to be familiar with the payment options you're offering. You might discover an amazing payment apps, but if your clients don't feel comfortable, don't think that your app is safe because they're not familiar with it, they're not going to pay. So you need to make sure, you need to know your customer, you need to make sure that you are offering a mean of payment that they are familiar with, they're going to be comfortable with. You need also to look at what is done on your market or what is done in your industry. It's difficult to go completely against the flow. So if you are in a B2B type of business, a business to business, the majority of transactions are bank transfers, probably because the amount transferred, the amount between the amount of the transaction is usually higher than between B2C, business to customer. Business to customers transaction or more relies more on payment apps or credit cards. Now, what are the invoicing and receipts options that you have? So these type of tools, invoicing and receipts, are very specific to the country your business is incorporated in. So if you are an Israeli business, you need to have a tool that has been approved by the Israeli tax authority. You cannot take a Google Doc, put a number and send it to the client as an invoice. It's not going to work, or as a receipt. That cannot be done. It needs to be an official system. If you are in the US, it's a little bit different. You can do that. And there are a lot more options of invoicing and receipts tools. If you are in Europe, you usually have the same system available as for the US, because these tools tend to accommodate both locations. Basically, there are two main options when it comes to choosing which tool you're going to use. Standalone invoicing tools, that means tools that are made specifically for invoicing and receipts. And I'm talking about something like iCount or Morning, which used to be called Green Invoice in Israel. Or we're talking about Stripe, we're going to discuss it. It's a little bit more than that, but they do have also invoicing and receipts. They are mainly known for taking payments, but you have the solution around that. And the second option is to look into all-in-one types of softwares or tools. If you have an all-in-one, that means you're going to be able to manage your client information, and you're going to be able to manage your projects. You might be able to manage a schedule there, and you will be able to manage your invoicing. One of the very popular all-in-one tool is Dubsado, but Dubsado is not an official Israeli invoicing system, so it doesn't work for Israel, but it works for the US, for instance, or for Europe. So these tools are available to you, but you need to make sure that it's working in your local place. The second thing you need to take into account when you're choosing your tool is if it's going to be integrated easily to your payment solution and to any other systems around that. So by that, I'm meaning you want to take payments by Bit or Zelle. You want to have a receipt that's going to be issued automatically. You need to make sure that the tool you're choosing is going to work with Bit or Zelle. Otherwise, you're going to end up receiving payments, but having to create manually the receipts. So it's not the best options. If you have a very low volume of transaction, it's still doable, but it's not my advice to do that. How to choose the base payment and invoicing combination. So what we just said is you need to make sure that they are integrated. So two different types of integrations that you should look at. That your payment solutions and your invoicing receipt system work together. So that means you receive a payment, you get automatically a receipt, or you send an invoice and you have a payment link embed on your invoice. That's your payment and invoicing working together. But you might want to also check out that your invoicing system is working with your other tools. So if you have a CRM, you have a list of all your clients, it is nice. It's not critical, but it is nice to have your CRM working with your invoicing tool. So you don't have to enter again the names of your clients. You can look them in a drop down. You can type the beginning of the name, it's going to show up. something that makes the process of invoicing easier. That's one thing. One integration that you absolutely need to look at, especially if you are taking payment online, is that your website is gonna integrate with your payment solution and your receipts. We're gonna see that if you are based in Israel, you don't have all the options available as a US business has or a European business. It's much more limited in Israel. You also, if you are relying on a scheduler, so people pay in advance to book an appointment with you, you want to make sure also that your solution, your payment solution works with the scheduler you are choosing. The receipt tools has to be integrated with the payment method we just said, and with the CRM we just said. Sorry. How the Born to Do business is set up. So the payments means is PayPal. So there is a PayPal business account, and for every recurring monthly payment, there's a request for payment that's sent automatically by PayPal to the client, and the invoicing receipt system is iCount. The iCount automatically creates receipts when a payment has been made in PayPal. And I can tell you a little bit more about why iCount. iCount was chosen because as an Israeli business, it's one of the only systems that has an English interface. Most of the other system has only an Hebrew interface. And also iCount offer other modules, not just invoicing and receipts, but you have other options in it, which makes it easier. There's also a technical part of setting up PayPal with a tool that makes it easier to do in iCount. So a little bit about the payment and invoicing tools for Israel. So as I said, in Israel, you have some limitations on the invoicing and payment tools because they need to be official and the word is just leaving me. But it has to be approved by the Israeli tax authority. And in terms of payment options, it is also a little bit different from the other countries. So you still have the main four means of payments available to businesses. You have bank transfer, so either regular traditional bank transfer through your traditional bank account at one of the big banks, Bank Hapoalim, Leumi, Discount, Mizrahi, and I forgot the fifth one. Sorry if anyone is at the one of the fees that I forgot. Or you can use a Wise account. And I'm going to discuss a little bit more what Wise is. You can take credit cards. We have three major and only three credit card companies where you can open a merchant account. So it's Isracard, Cal, and Max. Historically, they were linked to one of the big banks. They've split for a long time, but that's the main. These are the credit cards where you can open an account. We have payment apps, very popular one are Bit, Always PayPal, Paybox, that should be here, Check and Cash. Cash is very limited, especially if you're in a business-to-business type of business, then cash transactions are limited in amount. The Israeli Central Bank has decided to really remove cash as much as possible. So nothing to help on that side. One of the big questions I had is Stripe available in Israel? No, Stripe is not available to Israeli businesses. So you cannot rely on it. Some businesses, some business owners who are from the US or from the UK or one of the countries where Stripe is available do use sometimes a workaround to use their former bank account and link it to Stripe. It's something that is done. It's not something that I would advise in case Stripe just decide to, they can very well decide to close your account because it's not in their terms and conditions, in which case you need to find a new solution. So if your whole tech setup relies on Stripe and you operate from a country where Stripe is not available, that could be a critical issue in the future. It's absolutely critical in Israel to check that the credit card processor you want to use works with other software or the website platform you want to use. And here I'm going to give a few examples. Right, so if you want to build a website, which is informative website, or it's an online store, or it is something, a website where you can book appointments, or you can book events, then you need to make sure that the platform you're choosing is going to support the credit card processor you're choosing. On Shopify, not every single credit card processor that are out there are going to work. Shopify is limited to PayPlus and iCount, and always PayPal. PayPal is always an option, but here I'm talking about really credit card processing. That's one example. I had a client coming to me. They have a website. They are building a website on Squarespace. Squarespace, if you want to take credit cards as an Israeli business, the only solutions are using PayPal or building a custom solution. And here I'm talking about choosing a web developer who's going to be able to code really the connection between your credit card processor and Squarespace. So these are things that you really need to check before. You don't want to start working on a project or working with a tool, getting your links out there and then suddenly discover that you can't take payments because they're not working together. So that's very important. The alternative options that you have to what the four main and mainstream options we just saw, there are Wise and Payoneer. This is an alternative to bank transfer for foreign currency. So the way it works is Payoneer is only B2B. If you are operating, your business is facing another business, you can use Payoneer to receive payments. Wise also works for private people. You can choose to open a personal account, or you can choose to open a business account. Wise allow you to create local bank accounts in different countries using their address. It's still your name, so you have your own bank account informations, but you don't need to go through a whole KYC as if you are using a full-blown bank account in a different country. So typically you have clients in the US. I mean, if you're in Israel, right? You have clients in the US, you have clients in Europe, you have clients in Australia. You want to receive local payments in the local currencies. So you can create a US bank account to receive US dollars. You can create a Euro account to receive from any countries that support Euro, not England. And you can open an Australian dollar account to receive your transfer. So that's an alternative. The reason why this is a good alternative is because usually the fees on transfer and the exchange rate are better than for a regular bank account. PayPal is always an option. PayPal is probably one of the most integrated options that you can find on the market. So you can always use it. You can use it as an alternative mainly to take credit cards. It's going to work with people who already have a PayPal account. If you have a PayPal business account, you can also use PayPal to request payments, and people will be able to pay by credit cards without a PayPal account. Other alternative options in Israel, so it's alternative options to opening a credit card merchant account. It's Cardcom, Transila Express. These are type of path you can choose to receive credit cards without having to open a credit card merchant accounts at Instacart or Max or CAD. You go through them. It has its plus, it has its minus. One of the pluses is that you can get set up very quickly. The minus is that you're not going to be limited in the amount of money you can receive in this type of accounts. Here again, you still need to check that whatever solution you are choosing is going to work with your website, your scheduler, whatever the place you want to receive payments or ask for payments. Some of the app options. So apps for payments in Israel are extremely popular, especially in the business to customer type of business. So if your clients are private people and not other businesses, Bit is an application that was originally, it was created by Bank Apolli, but it works for everyone. You can have a free account. You can download for free the application, and then you can have the account for free and receive up to 50,000 shekel on the account, even if you are a business. And then we have a different version of Bit, which is Bit for business or Bit online. For that, you need to open to get approval from one of the Bit payment gateways, and you have Meshulam, PayMe, and Gamma. Right, so you already see we have a small pool of options. You pay, if you have a Bit for business, you pay 0.5% per transaction. There's no limit to the amount of money you can receive. And one of the pluses of that is that, for instance, on your website, if you are approved and you're going through one of these payment gateway, you can have a nice, pay by Bit button. Any of your customer being on their phone can just click on the Bit button from your website and transfer the money. So it's very convenient for the end customer. Also, you can have through your website a link to your receipts, so you pretty much don't need to do anything. The other app that's very popular is Paybox. Paybox is only a phone app. It has no integration available, and you have a limit of 50,000 shekel per year. I think that once you go above the limit, you need to be approved. So being that it's only a phone app and you have no integration available, if you are going to receive a lot of volume of transaction, Paybox is not going to be the best one, because you will have to create manually your receipt, track manually your payments. So it might be on the operation side of your business a bit hard to track. The Israeli invoicing options. So there are quite a few out there, and I just pulled down around really the 2-3 main ones that are extremely popular, and for good reason, because they are quite good. We have Green Invoice, so who has been rebranded as Morning. Green Invoice only has a Hebrew interface. There are some people who are not Hebrew fluent who are using the Google Translate option on their browser. So it is a possibility. You can link Green Invoice to a payment credit card. You can link Green Invoice to a Wix website, to a WooCommerce website, and other applications. They have quite a good list of applications available that can work together. You can link, obviously, Green Invoice with PayPal. As I say, PayPal works with pretty much everything. So it is a very good option. The main competitor and alternative will be iCount. iCount has a fully fully functional English interface. So if really Hebrew is an issue, iCount is a very good option. And the next one that you have is Revit. Revit is a little bit more complicated in the sense that it's made for companies, medium companies, not just entrepreneurs, solopreneurs. So you do have a little bit more modules. You can also link it to a credit card system and take payments from there. So that's an option. Both mourning and iCount can be linked to other system. iCount, just as Green Invoice, can be linked to WooCommerce website, to a Wix website. They have an integration with Shopify. So if you are on the online business and you are looking at Shopify, iCount is your answer. They have also different modules. They have a CRM. They have a place to maintain suppliers. They have a place to send SMS. I mean, they have different options that you can add. Every single option is not every single, but most of them you need to pay additional fees. So that's something you need to take into account. If you have advanced needs, you are running complicated business, and you have already a CRM in place, or you have a scheduler that's very particular that you need for your industry, then there are options to integrate Mourning or iCount with this software using Make. Make has been also rebranded. It was formerly Integromat, which is one of the third-party integrator. So a little bit of money information about it. How much does it cost? That's a very important one, because if you want to get paid by credit card, you're going to have to pay a fee for that. If you are opening an account as IsraCard, we are talking at the minimum of 0.9% per transaction. It really depends on which plan, right, you are. Are you also paying on a monthly basis, or is it a pay as you go? Is it something that you open through a third party? So did you open your IsraCard account through Wix or Green Invoice, which are options, but in which case the transaction fee is higher, and what currency you're receiving. So you can also charge in dollars or in euro on an IsraCard merchant account, but the transaction fee is going to be higher. Also, if you want to receive American Express card, the transaction fee is going to be higher. Max, as far as I know, starts a little bit higher, about 1.2% per transaction. It's the same idea. It all depends on your plan and the currency you want to receive. So you need to check that out before. And if you are using PayPal Israel, it's about, we are talking about between 4 and 7% per transaction. It also depends on the currency. It also depends if you are withdrawing the money with a fee or without a fee. So that depends on the amount of the withdrawal. So there are a lot of things to take into account into the PayPal fee. The PayPal fee schedule is extremely complicated. It's about 2 or 3 pages long. So you might want to look at that before, if you really want to, if you have a low margin type of business and you want to know. Are there free versions? They all have pay-as-you-go plans, right? So you can have a pay-as-you-go and just be charged for the transaction that you are doing. I usually recommend to have that on the side, having a pay-as-you-go account created and approved. So if you ever need to receive credit card payments, you have this solution ready. If you need to integrate your credit card or your BIT, as we see, you might have also additional fee if you need to integrate it to other tools. So now a little bit about the payment and invoicing tools for the US. So first of all, it's much simpler. There are a lot more options. If you are US based, business, you are US freelancer, US LLC, you have legal business in the US, then there are a lot more options, mainly because of Stripe. So we're going to discuss Stripe here a little bit. You still have the 4 main payments available: the regular bank transfer, which is made through local egg, which is very low fee type of transfer. For credit cards, using Stripe. Obviously, there are competitors to Stripe. You have Authorized.net and other options, but Stripe really is the main option out there. It integrates with just behind PayPal, has integration with pretty much also any software you can think of. And then you have payment apps, so Zelle, Venmo, and PayPal, which are very popular. That is extremely popular payment apps, also for business to business. And then you have Check and Cash, same idea, but if you are doing online business, Check and Cash is not relevant. So as I say, Stripe is really the leading app for credit card and local transfer. It also serves as an invoicing and receipt system. So you kind of have a very nice solution. You can have recurring payments, create subscription through Stripe, and Stripe has integration with pretty much any software or website platform that I've seen has the option to use Stripe. So if you are in the US, there's really no reason not to use a system like that. But again, before you go with a software or a website where you need to take payments, you need to make sure that it's going to work with the payment solution you're choosing. What are the different payment apps? So you have Zelle. It works from the US only, right? So it has also a list of applicable banks. It's a very long list. So most probably any mainstream bank in the US is going to work with Zelle, but you still need to check, otherwise you just can't use it. You are limited in the amount that can be used on the app, that can be sent or received. That depends on the bank you are banking with. So that's also something you want to check before. Another app that's popular is Venmo, and it's the same idea. I mean, Venmo also have a limit in the amount you want to spend and receive, and that's based on the type of account you have, if you have a personal account or a business account. I'm sorry. And also your bank. So a little bit about the money for the US systems. So Stripe starts a little bit higher. The entry for any business is 2.9% per transaction plus 30 cents. This is the non-negotiated rate, right? So if you have a big business or you're having huge volume or you have a big revenue, and this is true for any payment system, I would really encourage you to reach out to your account manager and try to negotiate the fees. If this is done, this is market practice. So really, it's worth doing it. I just so that I passed over the invoicing and receipt system because we had QuickBooks as a payments, the price. So before continuing to the pricing, the US invoicing and receipt options. So Stripe, as we just said, has also the option to create invoice, create receipts. It's a complete, payment solution. One of the very popular accounting solution is QuickBooks. QuickBooks, you really have 2 different versions. You have a desktop version, which I think is not so useful for small businesses or people who need to access remotely. And you have the online version of it. It has a lot of integrations, meaning that you can use QuickBooks and plug it to pretty much any type of website with different also schedulers and different systems, different tools you can use in your business. Another solution which is really good is Wave. So it's Wave app. It works as an alternative to QuickBooks. It's a place where you can issue invoicing, receipts, track your expenses also, so you can create financial dashboard. By the way, QuickBooks is also for that. So these are two very good solutions for the US. And then you have the all-in-one tools, which also going to have project management, CRM, scheduling, like Jibzado, Honeybook, and Zoho, just to name a few. And the pricing. So we have Stripe we just saw, and QuickBooks starts from €16 per month. There are no free versions, right? So if you are on Stripe, you can have a pay-as-you-go account, but you're not going to have Stripe for free in terms of you're going to have to pay a fee for each transaction. And QuickBooks doesn't have any free versions. They have a free trial, so you can test it out. And we have now the PayPal, sorry, the payment and invoicing tools, PayPal. So why do we have a whole section dedicated to PayPal? So first of all, PayPal is the most available payment solution in the world. It is one of the very few that do works, for instance, with China. China has a lot of limitation in the software they can use, but PayPal is also available for theirs. But anyone doing import, export, having to receive payments or make payments to China, which can happen, you can use PayPal. It has integration with virtually every software you can think of where you will need to take payment. So any website platform I've seen, any scheduler, any obviously any invoicing tool, or any proposal tool where you can ask people to pay, a registration form, online courses, all this type of software, you do have integration with PayPal. So it is a very, very convenient way to receive payments. Most customers also, I mean, some customers are not so keen on using PayPal, but everyone would deem it safe. So they would, even if they don't have a PayPal account, they would be okay to pay with their credit cards through PayPal. The cons are that it has high fees, right? As we saw before, between 4 and 7%, depending on the type of transaction, the currency, and above a certain amount of revenue for them, you need to go through additional compliance process. So that can delay the time until you can receive money. People will still be able to pay into your account, but you would not be able to withdraw. So that's something to take into account, that to check in advance so you don't have cash flow issues. The alternative to PayPal, so that's everything we just saw, right? The alternative to PayPal is traditional bank transfer, non-traditional bank transfer, such as Wise, or Revolut. Revolut is not available in Israel. It's available for the US or Europe, but not for Israel. But it's the same idea of non-traditional bank account, Payoneer, which is for business to business, and the regular credit card processors. How you can use PayPal in your business. So PayPal, as I said, can be integrated with a wide range of apps. So it can be integrated with a website. So that can be an online website, an online store, or an informational website where you want to just put a registration form. So it works with Wix, Webflow, WordPress, Kajabi, and we can go more. It works with WooCommerce plugins. It works with Shopify. It works with Squarespace, BigCommerce, any type of platform you name, it's going to work with PayPal. It works with forms. So if you want to create registration form for an event or for some of your classes, and you want to have that on the form, you can use JotForm or Typeform, and then you can embed PayPal. You can use Eventbrite and have your payment going through PayPal. Some of the other applications are integration with scheduler. If you are using Calendly and you are requesting payments before people can book, or you want to make the payment conditional to confirming the booking. So on Calendly or Acuity, then you can link it to PayPal. And it also works with the all-in-one or the CRM. So you can also have your Pipedrive, if you're using Pipedrive as a CRM, linked to PayPal, Dubsado, Honeybook, Zoho, which are all-in-ones. You can have that integrated with PayPal. And you also have the online platform course. So if you are running a course or you are going to run a course and you want to put it on a platform dedicated for that, then if you are an Israeli business, mainly your option for payment is going to be PayPal. It's going to be very complicated and very limited using traditional credit card processor like Visa card. So we're going into Thinkific, Podia, Thrivecart, Newsendler, any of these platforms are going to work with PayPal, and that's probably going to be the only options you have as an Israeli business. As a US business, always has Stripe, so it's good, but PayPal works with all of this. So a little bit more about the pricing is between 4 and 7%, as we say, depending on the currency, the transaction. You want to make sure you know your fees so you don't have bad surprising and you have enough margin. There's a difference between a PayPal personal account and a PayPal business account, right, in terms of fees. But if PayPal sees that you are receiving payments from a business, for instance, they are going to apply a business fee in any case, even if it's a personal account. So it's not good reason enough to stay with a personal account. And there is also a difference between opening a US PayPal or an Israeli PayPal. If you are an Israeli, if you want money to get to your Israeli bank account straight away, you better have, it's better to have an Israeli PayPal. Otherwise, it's not gonna be able to send you the money. Is there a free version? Yes, PayPal doesn't cost money on a monthly basis. You pay by the fees for transactions, but you can have a PayPal account open and not paying to maintain it open. Do they have customer support? So they do have customer support. It can be pretty basic. It really depends on the country of your account. The support for PayPal Israel is actually quite good, and you can phone people. They answer pretty fast. It's a good system. If you are trying to reach out to PayPal US, it's a little bit more complicated sometimes, especially if you are not sitting in the US. But they do have support, and you have the link here. So this is a little bit, this is the end of our training module. And if you have to take just a few key takeaways from the module, is that you need to check, if you are a business, you need to check that the payment solution you are choosing works with your other system. And you want also to make sure that you can have automatic receipts delivered upon payment. That's going to be a huge advantage when you start scaling and the volume picks up, and you don't need to worry about issuing this type of receipts.